Uh, Good afternoon. This is our first lecture. So I welcome you to the course Advanced Microcontroller and its Applications. In short, we will call it AMA. Okay. Uh, to begin with, I will share with you my screen. And here in this in this course, the name of the course is Advanced Microcontroller and its Applications. I am Dr. Sanjay Kanade from the Department of Electrical Engineering, TS Systems Bureau, Sound College of Engineering and Research, Nare. This course is having two different sections. One is the theory of 100 marks. For these theory lectures, we are going to conduct four hours per week lectures. The evaluation pattern for this course will be like 30 marks for in-semester examination, and this examination will be based on the first 3 units, and each unit will have 10 marks in the examination. The second examination will be conducted by the university at the end of the semester, which is called end semester examination. It will be of 70 marks, and it will be based on all 6 units. Okay, and in that the distribution of marks is like 20 marks for the first 3 units, and rest of the 3 units like unit 4, 5 and 6 will have 50 marks divided among them. And there is also an oral examination of 50 marks for this course, and for that we are going to conduct practicals 2 hours per week. There will be 8 practicals in this course, covering from the basics of microcontroller programming to the applications of the microcontroller, okay, in electrical engineering, of course. Okay, to complete this course successfully, there are certain things that you must know beforehand, which are listed out here. The knowledge of the number system, that is a required thing. By this I mean is that you should know the number systems, like the binary number system, octal number system, decimal number system, and hexadecimal number system. Basically all the positional number system, how the positional number systems work. Most importantly, the binary and the hexadecimal number systems are quite important for completing this course. Then knowledge of basic logic components is required. Remember, all these things that which are prerequisites are basically were basically a part of some of the courses that you have studied in the second year, right? Number systems and logic components you have seen in ADE, whereas programming skills in C language are required to write down the embedded system program, embedded C programs, and that you have studied in NMCP. And basic things about the architecture of microprocessor and microcontroller are required. These are covered in the subject FMA, fundamentals of microcontroller, right? So these are the prerequisites that you must be familiar with. If you think that you are weak in some of these or any of these, then I suggest that you go through that again in the very beginning of the course itself, so that it will be easier for you to understand the course at the later stages. Because if you skip these things now, it will be very difficult for you to understand whatever we are going to learn in this course. Okay. Now the objectives of designing this course are to provide the understanding of architecture of PIC 18F458 microcontroller. Now what it means is, for many of the electrical engineering applications, you will need to control some of the devices, electrical devices. And for that control, you need some kind of a device. Maybe that can be an purely electrical device, or many of the times it will be a digital control device. And the most popular ones are the microcontrollers. One of the microcontroller you have already studied, that was 8051 microcontroller you have studied in FMA. But there are certain things which cannot be implemented or developed using that microcontroller. That's why we are now studying an advanced microcontroller in this subject. Okay. Then another objective of this course is to develop ability to write and interpret assembly and C language programs for PIC18F 458, and then to interface various devices with PIC18F 458. Okay, so these are the objectives designed for this subject, for this course. And after successful completion of this course, the students will be able to, these are the course outcomes, that at the end of the course, what you will be able to do. First and foremost, you will be able to explain the architecture of PIC18F 458 microcontroller and its instructions and the addressing modes. Okay. Now the terms, whatever we are using now, for example, the instructions and addressing modes, these terms you already know from the FMA subject, right? Instruction, what are the instructions? These are the basic, very low level instructions given to the microcontroller. And addressing modes are how there are different ways how to access the data or the instructions in the microcontroller. Okay. Then the second second outcome of this course would be to develop and debug program in assembly language or C language for specific applications. Then so here you can see that we are going to develop programs in assembly language, which you are familiar with what assembly language is from FMA. And additionally, in this course, we are going to write programs in embedded C. Okay, so for this, you need to know how the C program is written. The basic things, not the advanced C programming. The basic things like if, how the C program structure is, the main, the include, then the various functions, how to write various functions, then for loops, the if statement, conditional statements. These kind of things are required. The basic structure of the course. Basic things are in the C programming language are required. Then in the third outcome that is expected of you is you should be able to use an IDE for simulating the functionalities of PIC microcontroller and its use for software and hardware development. Okay, so this IDE means integrated development environment is what we are going to use to develop our PIC microcontroller programs. Then you should be able to interface a microcontroller to various devices. Now this is the more interesting part, that not only studying the microcontroller, but you should be able to interface it with various electrical devices, because that is why we are studying the subject. Then the fifth outcome is effectively utilize the advanced features of microcontroller peripherals. Now what are these microcontroller peripherals? Of course, we are going to study these controller peripherals in the further units, like starting from unit 3, 4, 5. Okay, like timers, then capture module, PWM wave generation, like these things. Okay, there are so many features are inbuilt in this controller. And the sixth outcome of the course is to design and develop real-world control applications using PIC microcontroller. Now this is the most and foremost important thing that you should be able to do. And if you think carefully, the sixth outcome involves all the previous outcomes. If you successfully you can perform the first 5, then only you would be able to achieve the sixth outcome. Okay, so these are the 6 course outcomes which are expected from you after successful completion of this course. Okay, now here is the syllabus at a glance. The first unit, we are going to start with the PIC microcontroller architecture. Here we will see what are the various blocks inside the PIC microcontroller and how those are organized, how they function. Then the second unit, in second unit, we are going to study the assembly language programming. And in the third unit, we are going to study the programming of the controller in embedded C language. Then starting with the fourth unit, we will see the special hardware features and programming to use those special hardware features. Then in the fifth unit, we will see interrupt programming. Now you already know what interrupt is, right? You have seen this concept in the 8051 microcontroller. The concept is similar, but the way of implementation is different. Okay. And in the final unit, we will see interfacing of PIC microcontroller with various devices like motors and sensors. Okay. For evaluation of this subject, we are going to use continuous evaluation strategy, which is briefly described in on this slide. Okay. As you know, the attendance is mandatory and it is going to be very strictly followed during the execution of this course. Minimum 75% of attendance is required for appearing for any examinations. This is the requirement given by the university, and we are going to strictly follow this in this course, in this semester. Okay. In the beginning, we are going to conduct a prerequisite test to evaluate the basic understanding of the prerequisites that are required for this course. And based on this prerequisite test, we are going to make classification into 3 categories, A, B, C. This is purely based on the performance of students in this prerequisite test. Okay. Then there will be a unit test after completion of every unit. There will be assignments, 1 assignment after each 2 units, and these assignments will have different number of questions, and number of questions as well as the level of difficulty of the questions will be different for each category A, B, C, which are created here based on the prerequisite test. Then there will be a pre-INSEM examination conducted by the department, and that is conducted in the week before the INSEM examination. Then there will be also a prelim examination before the term and submission, before the submission. Okay. As I have already said, that the subject involves oral examination of 50 marks, and there will be 8 practicals that we will have to do, will have to perform for this subject, and each of those practicals must be checked in the next session, next week after the conduction. It means that if I conduct a practical in, let's say, first week of July, then that practical must be written by you and get checked in the second week of July. It means in the next turn of the practical. It will not be checked afterwards, and you will have some some penalties will be applied for you in terms of your marks and stuff. Okay, somebody is raising a hand. Is there any problem? If you have any problem, you can unmute yourself and ask. Rohit, Neha, Ajinkya, you have raised your hands. Do you have any problem? You want to discuss something or have any difficulty? Neha, Rohit? No? Okay, so I'll continue. Okay, now understand that the continuous evaluation, whatever we are carrying out, it is actually required. It's a very important step towards learning. It keeps you on the track of learning. It stops you from deviating from learning. If you do this continuously, it will make sure that you are studying in a proper way, in a regular way, and and you are learning in a proper way. So that's why continuous evaluation is very important, and you have to follow this. Okay. So with this I will say happy learning. And now let's